Okay then, so comp prep vlog 2. Let me give you guys some updates. It's been roughly, I believe, 6 to 8 weeks since the last vlog. A little bit longer than I'd like, but again, a lot's been going on. Some great things have been going on, so I want to give you a little bit of the highlights, and I'm going to put things on the screen here as well so you can actually see what I've been doing and reference some of the things I'm talking about. So let's start with training. Not really much has changed. I know, anticlimactic, there's a big myth that, as I spoke about last time, when you train, you've got to change everything, you've got to drop the weights, you've got to do high reps, and that isn't the case. If you do, you're generally going to be at risk of losing muscle tissue. And the biggest driver to retain muscle mass, especially as a natural athlete, is going to be maintaining volume and strength for the most part, even if it's not maximally. I'm not doing my 1 hour RMs, I'm not doing anything high risk, but I'm maintaining a certain amount of volume, a certain amount of strength, which tells the body, hey, you need to stay around this muscle mass that I've got, you need to stay around because we keep having this challenging stimulus from it. So honestly, apart from swapping and varying some exercises that are just in there because obviously when you stagnate with things, you want to swap a variation. I'm very attuned to what works with me in certain movement patterns in relation to the specifics. So obviously there's only so many movement patterns, but I'll generally do things that feel good on my body, that I know I get a lot of return on investment at, that I can actually really feel the movements. I did mention that I was struggling with what we thought was the shoulder and an inflamed bicep. That is, I would say, 95% now there. So I've just been introducing more vertical pressing movements, more challenging sort of incline movements, getting a little bit deeper, getting a little bit heavier. So that's been really good. I've been really pleased with that because I was a little concerned initially, although I was aware that it would heal, but I just didn't want it to depict or have an impact on my actual comp prep in relation to all that as well. So there was those things. But aside from that, with training, nothing really has changed. I train between EMF, my home gym, and World Gym for a change of scenery, and literally, again, somewhere else to train where I can just really, really focus. Well, you guys wanted to see the new car on the vlog, put a vote out on my Instagram, and you said you want to see the new whip. So first of all, let me say, I've achieved this by helping people with their most important asset. That's the coolest thing about this, right? I love cars. For those of you who don't know, I used to race. I was very fortunate to be able to do so because it is very difficult, especially when you don't come from money. So my mom and my dad, they worked very hard to give me that opportunity, and I'd love to be able to give back one day and even get back into racing. But the best thing is when you can actually do something you love and earn a living via actually helping people, and that is how I've achieved this new beautiful beast here. That's right, it's the AMG C63S, and it's the coupe edition. I've just got the new grille on it, and I've put my plates on it. We've done the tints, the wraps. Now we just need to get the wheel spaces to bring it out a bit wider, and all the black badging, which will be pretty cool. So this is it here, team. Very, very cool. Very amazing. Unbelievable engine. This one was sold to me by in terms of like what made me want to get this car is when I went to Germany. My best friend, he basically sold them to me. I've got the boot open, I'm just taking some pictures at the minute, and then I'm gonna head in. So yeah, it's an amazing vehicle. If you know, you know. The engine is just an absolute monster, and if you love cars and driving, then this is the car. And they're not making them in the V8s anymore. They might be bringing them back, but we'll see. So I'll get a little bit more of this on the video, I'm sure in vlogs to come, but again, it's not just about the car, right? Also, do what you love. The takeaway is do what you love, and if there's things that you enjoy, use that to fuel and be able to, have the life that you desire. Yes, very, very cool inside. Very, very cool indeed. Got all the racing seats, got all the goodies. That's what it's about. But look, at the end of the day, if you pursue goals and you make things happen, you'll get the rewards. Simple, that's it. Anyway, that's enough about that. Back to the comp prep vlog. In regards to nutrition, we've had a few drops, not too many. So when I last spoke to you, I think I was on 2,700 calories. The refeeds have not changed, so that's the same as last time, 3,200 on a Saturday, 2,900, call it 3,000 on a Sunday. And the only drops we made initially was from 2,700 to 2,500, and then 2,100-ish now. And last week we dropped a bit of fat. So we're about the 2,000 calorie mark. I might have even just been under 2,700 last time I spoke to you guys. But anyway, I'll pop it on the screen and you can see now what I've been doing for my meal prep, keeping it really simple. This is one of the biggest learnings of my last prep, was not to overcomplicate it with a lot of processed foods, with foods that were too voluminous, too fibrous. Keep it very, very simple in terms of the meat, the rice, the trackability, the protein, the carbs, all of these things that are just very easy to manage, very easy to prepare, very easy to quantify, track, and also adjust as well. So I think a lot of people, when they go comp prep, they do too much flexible dieting, or they start to use too many artificial things like drinks and sweeteners and other fillers, or the foods that fill you up that have, you know, low calories, like the noodles, the soups. And what I've found is with a lot of those foods, they have a lot of sugar alcohols in them, or if you like, the FODMAPs, or the fermented oligosaccharides, disaccharides, polysaccharides, and all of this, right? Basically, fermented carbohydrate chains, if you will. Sugar alcohols. And what they do often is they wreak havoc in the gut, and based on some literature as well, having these artificial sweeteners impact the psychology and the physiology. It makes you think, oh yeah, I'm getting this sweet hit, but you're not. And that can actually entice and sometimes make you more hungry, rather than having the real thing, i.e. just the food. Say if you just have, oh, okay, I'm just gonna have white potato, have some salt, pepper, herb spices, whatever it is. I'm gonna have some chicken breast, some lean meat. I can flavor that up with some easy trackable marinade. And oftentimes, it's not only gonna digest better, you're gonna feel better, you're gonna look better as well. I noticed I was very bloated last time, and that wasn't great at all. So you can see here like how easy my meal prep is, and I've pretty much been doing the same things on the weekend. The only difference is I eat more quantities. I was eating pasta at my mom and dad's for a while and grilled, which I could easily track, and I was overestimating it. But as of the last 2 weeks, I've cut that out. So we're about like 4 or 5 weeks. We were about 4 or 5 weeks out at that point. We're about 3 now from the first competition. And I just thought, you know what, let's get rid of all of that. Let's just leave no stone unturned. Some people wouldn't have done that at all. But again, with my experience, I thought that's something I want to do. I want to still leave in the odd thing. And I was still having breakfast on the weekend with my girlfriend, where we would go to a cafe and I'd have 2 slices of sourdough, a half a grilled tomato, and 2 poached eggs. Very trackable. Same with coffee, keeping it simple. So, you know, you can obviously do 2 extremes and you can be really rigid, but I think obviously leading in, you need to be more specific, you need to be more rigid, more controlled, unless you want to leave room for error. And I don't want to leave any, if, you know, at all room for error, because I want to know that when I'm on that stage that I've done every single thing within my power to get there. So that has been one of the biggest takeaways, and it's really helped because we've already surpassed how lean I was last time. I've obviously got a bigger, leaner physique. We've done less cardio, which I'll talk about in the next clip, and I'm able to look that much better. So really excited now to go into the peak. So Dr. Joe Klemzeski, my coach, who is based in America, who I had on my podcast, who I've known for many years, you know, he's obviously been referencing what I've been doing. I've been doing my own training and saying, hey, do you want me to change this, change that, simple. And then with the nutrition, he's been making the calls with me. So that's been awesome to kind of have that guidance and support, but still have some like say in control, because I don't really need to be micromanaged at this point. And I also want to learn from my other athletes that are competing, and also when I compete in the future, and also take on more and more competitors, which I'll talk to you about in the future too. So I've just been getting my steps up to about 10,000 still every day. I've not changed that. I keep that pretty much standard, even in the off season. And the reason I'm off season, the gaining phase, and even why is I feel good with it. I always say it's good for my spine, good for my mind. I like to get out, keeps me active, healthy. It's a reasonable amount of steps, and it's very achievable for me. So we've been doing that all through prep. Nothing has changed there. I've been getting 12,000, a little bit more on the odd day, but it's not been a goal. And there's literally just been one dedicated 40-minute cardio session every week, which is about zone 2 cardio. So if I was talking with you, I would be a little bit in between breaths, but I could still actually talk to you. And that has been it. So hardly any cardio. Again, mainly manipulating nutrition, NEAT, obviously through steps, non-exercise, activity thermogenesis. I've been generally getting them in the morning, and then fill in the gaps at night. So it's been pretty smooth sailing. And again, if you want to look like a physique athlete, you've got to train like one. If you do too much cardio, you're going to look like a string bean, especially if you're natural as well and your calories are low. So yes, it's been nice just getting the steps in, to be quite honest, and I enjoy it. And posing wise, well, look, I've refined a lot of my bodybuilding poses. I feel like I'm a lot more comfortable with them now. I feel like I've been able to take them to another level versus last prep. There was a few things last time where I wasn't really sure where I was space in time. So I put a lot more time, energy into it. Again, you know, a lot of people, they really don't understand the importance of posing, and you'll find that, you know, leading up to the show, they'll start like 6 weeks out. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, you need to start like a year out plus, in my opinion, because posing is a big part of the show. And you might have the best physique on the day, but if you can't showcase that without a mirror in front of you, then you're at a disadvantage. So you're leaving a huge pillar of bodybuilding or physique shows, depending on what category you're doing, you know, out of the picture. So you want to be practicing all the time, and I've never stopped practicing, but obviously now I'm upping the tempo. So I'm doing things like practicing without a mirror, I'm practicing isometric holds, I'm doing it in the altitude room, which is lower oxygen. So it's making it harder for me to actually pose. So when I'm in the real world environment, under pressure on the stage, pumped up with the lights, I'm going to be more conditioned. I'm going to be able to outlast a lot of the athletes next to me, because I'm going to be able to hold my pose with poise and precision and know exactly how I'm looking and how I'm going to hit it, which will play to my advantage. So it's just putting that time in. The classic poses have been quite challenging, but very enjoyable. I finally got my routine together. I wouldn't say it's ready yet, but I've got another 4 or 5 weeks for that one because I'm doing the IFBB show after the ICN. So yeah, I'm looking forward to finally pay homage to bodybuilding and present something, you know, quite special, or hopefully, you know, fairly artistic, and which has a good reflection on the sport and obviously depicts, you know, the whole ethos of bodybuilding, especially classic bodybuilding as well, and showcasing that physique and really adding that artistic and aesthetic element to it. So I'm very excited for you all to see that. And yeah, I'm going to keep chipping away at it in the meantime. In terms of lifestyle and how it's affected things, look, compared to last time, it's been day and night. It was very easy when I last spoke on the vlog, but you know, I've been saying this to people who have asked me, you know, what has it been like? Well, if last time on a difficulty scale, 10 being the hardest and 1 being the easiest, last time was like a 10, this time has been like a 3. And I'm already leaner and more shredded and eating more food and doing less cardio and. But obviously I'm in a better position now. I'm doing what I love. I'm earning, you know, good money. I've got beautiful relationships. I've got my partner, my beautiful woman to support me, my mom and dad, my friends, my clients. You know, I was able to buy one of my, you know, next goals, my dream cars, which has been awesome. And then I want to, you know, on that, there's 2 more things. So, you know, we've got the car, that's awesome, surplus to requirements. I used to race, it's significant to me. And now it's about, you know, checking off the other physique goals, which would be to win a show, ideally, you know, win a category, but ideally, win a show, which would be amazing. To get that sword, unfinished business in ICN, IFBB, see how I stand up to, you know, enhanced athletes and pay homage to what I think is the most traditional, mainstream and the most purest element of bodybuilding in classic physique. And then really have some fun on the WBFF stage. You know, I love fashion, I'm an entertainer, I love getting up there and just showcasing all of that and inspiring all of you and showing you, you know, okay, how can you actually get into these, you know, this condition if you wanted to, and why maybe you shouldn't, but also, you know, how you can improve your own health. And it doesn't have to be that difficult, because I wouldn't recommend getting this lean for most of you, and you don't need to. Most of you just want to look and feel good naked, and that's what I specialize in. So I'm just showing you how simple it really is. But the difficulty comes in the discipline and the consistency and the accuracy of doing that, and be able to do that for weeks and months on end. So it's give, take, give, take, right? It's a 2-way street. You can't just take from the body, and you have to understand the science. Although it is simple, for the most part, people get, you know, confused and complicated, and they complicate it because of all the information around them. So lifestyle's been really good. Still got my sex drive, which is awesome. My girlfriend's happy about that, but it's a real thing. You know, I've not got depressed at all this prep. Last time I had some dark places. I was so out of energy. Don't get me wrong, these last few weeks have been more difficult and I have been tired, but nothing compared to the last prep. So if you guys want to support me, I will make a post on all my socials soon. So the first competition is ICN, I Compete Natural. It's in Brisbane for those of you who are in the area. It's the 23rd Saturday of September. I'll be competing from about, I think, 11:30 based on the run sheet. And then we've got the following weekend, October the 1st on a Sunday, the IFBB, where I'll be doing bodybuilding and classic physique. classic physique, and then the last competition, WBFF, here at the Gold Coast Casino, just down the road, and that'll be the 4th of November on a Saturday, and it's going to be fun. And look, if anything else pops up, I will be sure to let you know. And of course, I've got a couple of photo shoots. So I'm going to leave it there, guys. Probably been long enough, but for those of you interested, there's a bit of an insight to what's been happening as of lately. I will probably do the next vlog after at least the first 2 shows, or maybe after all of them, give you a bit of a wrap up, show you the footage, give you a synopsis. But in the meantime, if you want to see more, I'm sharing on my socials daily. Instagram is probably the best place to find me, but obviously all the links are in the show notes if you want to learn more. And if you want to really make a change with your physique and you want to work with someone who's real, authentic, down to earth, and you've got the right attitude, then click the link in the description notes and fill out my application form, and we can have a chat and see if it's a good fit. All right, team. Until next time, of course, stay fearless.